What is good, guys? Today we're working from inside the car to start off with, and that's mainly because it's pouring down with rain outside. The weather was looking great today, and so I planned to film and shoot my video and work on the car in the afternoon. But then out of nowhere, the weather changed to this. Right now, if you don't know about all the crazy weather that's been happening in Japan, we've been getting typhoons, we've been getting earthquakes. It's all over the place. Now, I wasn't like, nothing was damaged or anything around where I live here in Tokyo from the big typhoon that hit down in Osaka, but we've been getting obviously all the crazy weather and rain because of it. But anyways, let's get straight into the video and I'll show you guys what we're working on today. Okay, so we're going to be playing with some tubing straight away, and this is for the map sensor on the Link ECU. Let me just give you a quick lesson in map sensors. Map sensors are a replacement for an airflow meter. The reason for that is MAP stands for manifold actual pressure. It pretty much just means what is the real pressure in the manifold, and it does that by running a bit of tubing like this, nice black silicon one, from the manifold on a single port. You don't split it off into any other devices or boost gauges or anything. It needs to go straight to the manifold, and it goes to the map sensor on the ECU, or sometimes you have a little map sensor that sits in the engine bay. So the reason why we're replacing that tubing with this black one that you see here is because I currently have this one in here. Now, when I first set this all up, I was in a rush. I couldn't wait the week for the black stuff to arrive, and the only place that I could get tubing from was the home center, so I just grabbed this. Now, I guess it's kind of like aquarium tubing, but anyways, it's not designed for putting up with heat. And I realized that all of my idling issues, whenever my car's in vacuum, it kind of wants to stall out, and that was because the map sensor wasn't getting a correct reading of what the pressure was in the manifold. And just like you'd see with an airflow meter, if there was a problem with your airflow meter, the car stalls out and acts weird and does weird fueling issues. And that's what mine was doing. Even though my ECU has a wideband and all of that, it was getting really confused because the manifold actual pressure was not what the wideband was detecting with the fuel air ratios. And anyways, it was causing all of my problems. And it was literally this tubing, right? I haven't pulled the one out of the engine bay. This is currently one that I had spare lying around, but I'll show you when I pull it out how much thinner this has gotten. From the heat in the engine bay, this got so soft that under vacuum it would squish itself closed and suck itself closed, which then meant my map sensor was literally getting the wrong readings. And whenever my car's in vacuum, which is pretty much when the turbo's not spooling, is when it would have problems. So that's why I'm having idling issues, and it's so simple, it's stupid. So, while this worked to get me to the dyno, get the car tuned and everything, it only took a few heat cycles before this tubing just became soft that the vacuum squishes it closed. So we're going to this nice big black one. That's what she said. Anyways, as you can see, inside diameter is much smaller, but the wall for the outside diameter is much thicker. So we're going to be using this one, as well as it's going to be like less length, because I'm going to run straight from the manifold through the hole in the firewall where the aircon stuff is, with some heat shielding so it doesn't get melted from the turbo, straight down to the ECU in the kick panel there. Currently, I have it going from the middle of the manifold down through here, under the dash, and there. So there's like an extra, I don't know, maybe 2 meters I'm taking off the length. So I'm going to go and do that now. I'm going to get out in the rain, pull the old tubing out once I get the ECU and everything bolted from there. I think the first step for that is going to be to remove my fully sick JDM flare that expires on 2020. When it hits 2020, I might ignite this in the backyard and show you guys what it's all about when this thing burns. Anyways, let's get started. So we got it all apart. I'm sure you guys really thoroughly enjoyed me struggling in the space that I have, because I can't open the door with the fence being right there and the rain and everything. Got everything apart. This is the old tubing here. It's weird. You can see like it's even been squashing itself in here. And you can see like it's kind of discolored as well. So really glad that I figured this out as soon as I did, and it didn't cause me any further issues, especially like if that started leaking air or something while I'm on boost. That would be very bad and could cause my engine to blow up. So what I'm going to do now is I've got to actually now go outside, and I'm going to have to lift the bonnet up and feed the new vacuum line through the firewall, which will come out here where all these other wires are coming through. And then I'm then gonna pretty much put everything back in the ECU, put this on with a zip tie around the map sensor. If you haven't seen them before, that's the Link ECU map sensor that's built into the ECU itself. We'll run the vac line to that, and then we'll run it off the manifold out there. I'm gonna see if I can get the camera under the bonnet in such a way so you guys can see what I'm doing, but without it getting wet. But we'll have to play it by ear and see how we go. So anyways, I'm gonna feed this through the firewall now, and then we'll continue from there. All right, so the rain's starting to kind of pick up a fair bit, but I wanted to show you my progress. So far, I've gotten the new silicon line fed through here in the AC line. I'm about to put on some heat shielding to stop that from getting damaged by any heat. You're probably wondering why there's a big tub of Vaseline, and that's because I was having a lot of trouble pulling the vac line through, so I lubed it up with some Vaseline and it slipped right on in there. Anyways, all jokes aside, this is pretty much the perfect length in the engine bay now. I just need to put that heat shielding on. I'm probably gonna stop the heat shielding at about here. So maybe a good 30 centimeters of this, I'll feed it through. And then I guess I'll kind of put you guys on the time lapse while I try to smash this out. I'm getting drenched right now. The weather is not that great. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so done in the engine bay, got the bonnet closed. The rain is just getting worse and worse and worse. So got everything zip tied up nice and neat in there. I'm gonna actually pull through the old vacuum line now. I just need to find it under here. That's all of it. So this was running all the way to my sensor. Like, look how much hosing that is. And this is what was in the engine bay, right? Like, see how soft that is? And it would literally just heat up and get super soft, even softer than what it is now, and just shut itself. So glad we're ripping that out. We can use it as a backup, I guess, a spare if ever I need to. Now what I'm gonna actually do with all this excess here is I'm gonna actually create a joining point. So I'm gonna cut it and have a joiner that goes in there. So that way I can remove the ECU without having to open the top all the time when I wanna, like, you know, pull it out and, I don't know, change some wiring or whatever. Because right now what I have to do is I have to open the top to be able to unplug the vac line and all that type of stuff. So it's always best to cut this and put a little joiner there. So I'm gonna go get that and do that as well. And then I'm gonna feed it all into the ECU, hook it on there with a little tiny hose clamp or a zip tie to hold it onto the sensor. And then we'll put it all back together. But you guys will see the time lapse for all of that. And then I guess we'll start the car up when we're done. Okay guys, so it's dark now, the rain is much worse, but everything's backing down there and all good to go. USB's connected right now, got the Link software open and the engine idling. Map sensor is definitely working. We're at negative 70 kPa right now, and I'm just taking a look at this when I like blip the throttle just to see like what happens. We can see that it comes down to the 750 range, but doesn't come down in the 500 range like it used to. So that's good. And I mean, I haven't been driving this that hard yet. I'm not sure if everything's heated up yet. But anyways, vac line's definitely working. The new one's working good. So that's great. I did notice a couple days ago actually that my AFRs are reading fairly rich, and it never used to read like that rich. And I think the reason why is I damaged the wideband sensor. I used to have it in the downpipe directly under the car. And a few of you guys actually mentioned, you said like, oh, hopefully that doesn't hit anything. It does sit quite low. And well, it hit something and it got crushed a little bit. So I think that's why like my AFR's reading a little bit rich. I think the sensor's damaged. I actually have a new one that's due to arrive any moment now. I was just looking at the tracking, so it's due to be delivered in the next hour. So when that gets here, if the rain stops, I'll throw it in and go for a test drive. If not, I'll probably wrap up the vlog and talk to you guys then. But for now, I'm gonna mess around a little bit in this, see if I can get the idle a little bit leaner. But I'm reluctant to do that because I don't know if these are my true AFRs because of the damaged sensor. So I might just hold off for a bit and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it arrives shortly. But I do need to clean up all my tools that are sitting on the back seat. So hopefully it stops raining soon so I can take everything out and do that. But successful so far. So anyways, I'm gonna pack up for now, call it quits. Hopefully the weather holds out. I'm repeating myself, I feel. So anyways, let's just go inside. All right, so check it out, guys. It arrived just in time. This is my new wideband O2 sensor. So it's pouring down even more outside right now, but I'm still going to go out and put this in, and then I'll put a change of clothes on and go for a drive. And hopefully that solves all my problems. Okay guys, so I swapped out the old one. Here's the old one. See how it's squashed and damaged here? And I think what was happening was while this was in the downpipe under the torque of the engine, every time like you'd come off the throttle and stuff, this just started like twisting and bashing against the chassis rail of the car. And even though the sensor part itself wasn't damaged, it was the body of it. It caused, check this out, it caused nearly a 2.0 difference in my AFRs. Right now I'm idling and we're pretty much at around like 11.9, 12 AFRs. And check this out, when I blip the throttle now, we don't go into the 700s and 500s anymore like we were before, and the idle's staying solid. So it's crazy now that I think about it, like, because if I was tuning my car and I was like going by the old sensor, man, I could have been running really lean. Like 2.0 of a difference, if we're looking at, say, you know, I'm tuning at 12, but under full boost you normally want about 11. So if I'm, you know, going by full boost at 11, we're actually going to be sitting at about 13, which is way too lean, can cause detonation issues depending on your timing and blow your engine up. So really glad I caught this now. I'm going to go back inside and wait for about 30 minutes. I got another delivery due to come before 9, and once that's here, we'll go out for a nice test drive and see how it all goes. All right, so I've just gotten back from my test drive, and what I ended up actually doing was hanging out with Elbow for tonight. We spent like a couple hours just messing around, and like we drove down to a convenience store near Up Garage and kind of like checked out the car yards there and whatnot. But anyways, shenanigans aside, the car is running great. I did quite a few pulls on the highway, and it's not going too rich. It's not leaning out. There's no problems there anymore. It's kind of like... drives me insane that it seems like it was mainly the wideband sensor this entire time. But you know, all those other things that I've done to fix this issue all needed to be done anyways. So, I mean, that makes me feel a little bit better about myself. But I'm sure you guys have been in the same situation as me before, and you've all experienced this, and yeah, it's just cars, I guess, right? So anyways, I feel a little bit better about it. I still need to sort out my whole relocation kit for the oil filter. I've ordered the piping and the fittings for that, and we're going to completely move where the cooler is and everything and change that whole entire setup. So that'll probably happen in the next couple videos or so, as long as this weather holds out. But anyways, that's enough talking, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know I know that these last few videos have just been like maintenance and trying to find gremlins and issues and stuff like that. But this is what all of us go through, I guess, as car guys. It's always something like that. So content kind of goes up and down, I guess, with it. But yeah, once again, thanks heaps for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Social media links are down in the description. Hit them up, especially join the Discord. It's a good way for us all as a community to hang out and talk and interact. And yeah, if you want to send me anything like slap stickers to put on my car or whatever, PO box address is there as well. I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Ja mata ne.